Hi, this is Debbie Kaufman, your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today we are going to do a modified gatefold card. Opens up and opens up. And of course the matching envelope. We are going to be using the inked and tiled stamp set, which is this stamp set, this one, and then just a note. The bundle comes with 2 punches, and I have one here to show you, which we'll be using. But there's 2 punches that come with the bundle. So this is a bundle with punches instead of dies. So it's actually a pretty cool stamp set. Okay, so that is what we'll be using. We'll be using wild wheat as a card base. Now we're going to cut this cardstock together because it is not the normal cutting. And it's just a little bit different. So we're going to cut it together. Normally, you get 2 cards with 1 cardstock. Today, you get 1 card, 1 cardstock. So we'll go ahead and get started. I tried this video earlier, and then I hit something on my laptop, and it went away. So we're doing this again. So we'll see how it goes this time. So I'm going to bring out my trimmer. And we got it the long way, and we're going to cut it at 10.5 inches. And cut and save this piece. Okay, now we're going to score it. Just move it over and score it at 5 1/4. So we have it at, there's 5 and there's 5 1/4. And we're going to score it. Turn it so it's this way now, and we're going to score it all the way down at 2 1/8 inches. Make sure you have the scoring blade. Take it out of your trimmer, turn it, and we're going to do the other side at 2 1/8 inches. 2 1/8. And make sure we're straight. Okay. Now we're going to set that aside a minute, and we need to get rid of the 2 top flaps. So I'm sure there's easier ways of doing it, but for me this works the best. So what I do on the score line here is I cut right on the score line up until I reach the next score line. And then I go and do the other side and cut on the score line till I reach the other score line. So I've got those 2 flaps cut. Now we'll take our trimmer back and we're going to cut off these 2 top flaps. Now what I found is the easiest for me to do, if you'll notice on your trimmer, you have a point on your trimmer. There's a little point, and that's what I'm going to put right on the score line. So this score line is going right in the groove of where I scored it. Which I actually got to do it this way. Hang on. Yeah, this is right. And I've got my pointer right on the line. Make sure I've got everything lined up. Score line is right in this groove. I'm going to take this cutting blade and put that point right on the score line and push up. And I have my piece out. Okay? We'll slide it over, line up that, and that'll be at 2 1/8. Line it up right on that slot. Bring my blade down to where it lines up here and push up. And I have the beginnings of my gatefold card. Now we're going to fold it so the mountains go on the inside. So fold, fold, and fold. Okay. Now sometimes it's a little tight up here, and you have to adjust because of these pieces are right on the line and this is right on the line. So what you can do is you can trim a little bit off of here to make it fit, or you can just make your cardstock. Get your cardstock. Right to the point where it needs to be. And that's not working very well. Never works well on a video, does it? Okay. Of course you want it to. Okay. And varnish it. Now it looks like I still got a little extra at the end, so you might want to trim that off. Or we can trim off the top just a little bit. I might do that. Let me try that. I know this is not the way to go in a video, but we're going to go this way anyway. Just to get a little off the top. I folded so many of these cards and I do fine until I do the video. Okay, here's your gatefold. And it's still a little bit long here, so what you can do if you can trim off the bottom, but here's your gatefold. Okay, now what we're going to do is we need to cut for the flaps. So this is these flaps are I went in 1/4 inch, so they're 1 7/8 by 4 7/8. 1 4/8 by 4 7/8. You need 2 of them. So we're going to cut those together. This is where I accidentally stopped the video the last time. So we'll see how it goes. 1 7/8 by 4 7/8. So I'm going to go, there's 1, there's 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's right before the 2, 1 7/8. And then 4 7/8. So we have 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7/8 and 4 7/8 again. Save this piece because you can always put a sentiment on it. So this will go on these pieces here. And we'll be stamping those. So I'm going to set those aside. Now the next piece that we need to cut with the white is this piece here, the white part, and that part is 2 1/4 by 4 3/4. Well, actually we need to do the Moody Mauve first. Well, I've got the white. Let's go ahead and do the white. So the white is 2 1/4 by 4 3/4. So again, let's go 2 1/4. Bring it down here. 2 1/4 by 4 3/4. So we have 4 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. And that will be this part here. And since I have the white, then let's take this piece and just set this aside, because you never throw stuff away. And on the inside, that inside is actually a little bit different than the normal one. That is 5 by 4. So we're going to go 4, by 5, and that will be on the inside. So we've taken one piece of basic white and have cut all of our white pieces. Now we're going to take the Moody Mauve and cut that piece. Now if you have scraps, that's what you need to do, but I just wanted to show you. The Moody Mauve is 5 by 4. So we're just going to cut 5 by 4. Okay, and that's our layer. Now the next thing we need to cut is our vellum. And I do have that here somewhere. The basic vellum, there's all different designs in there. I love this paper. And we are going to cut this vellum at 2 by 4 3/4. So we're going to go to 2. Set that aside. And by 4 3/4. 1, 2, 3/4. Okay. Now we've got our paper cut, so I'm going to put my trimmer aside. And we need to do our stamping. So I'm going to set some of these pieces aside. I'm going to set these two aside. And then these are the stamping ones that we need to do. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do our stamping first. Ink to paper. We're using this stamp. I'm going to set these two pieces aside, and we're going to stamp on these using Wild Wheat. And you just enjoy stamping. That's all it is ink to paper. And turn it. We'll set that aside. And wipe this off. And we'll stamp this one. And you decide how much you want on there and what you want. Okay, I'll set that aside. Wipe off my thing here. Okay. And, you know, actually I should have put this other one on the inside as well, but of course I didn't. So we're going to add some of our flowers here. Every card will be different. Every card is different. Just remember that. Never going to be the same. Never going to be the same. If you're looking for absolute perfection, you will not find it here. But look at that. Isn't that fun? I love it. I love it. Okay, we'll set those aside. And the bigger white piece is the one that I was really going to put. We can actually add some more. We can add some flowers to the front of that to make it. We'll just change it up. So we're going to add. We'll just. Just kind of make your own little design. And let me clean that up. Okay. Now what we also need to do is we need to stamp, and you know, stamp or just a note. I use Stylish Shapes, and this is the die that I'm using. And we're going to use Just a Note and Moody Mauve. Get my stamping done. And these are scraps. Scraps that you have in your drawer. Make sure you save your scraps, because always can use scraps. And we'll die cut this out. But let that dry a minute. While the ink is open, I'm going to go ahead and stamp the inside. And that's with the larger flower and Moody Mauve. And we're going to go ahead and do that at an angle. Okay. Ooh, pretty, pretty, pretty. And as long as we have one ink open, we'll go ahead and stamp our envelope. So I've got this open, so and you can stamp on the flap, you can stamp here, and we'll close that up, and more leaves. And close that up. And clean off my grid. Okay. All right. So now we've got our stamping done. Now we need to assemble. Okay. So this will go here. We need to put our vellum and our front piece on together. Now you don't want to put adhesive behind the vellum because it will show through. So for me, I know there's got to be easier ways. I'm just going to put adhesive on 3 sides of this and not on the side that's towards the vellum. I'm just going to put adhesive on 3 sides. And I'm going to lay that, adjust how I want to do it. Okay. Now this is going to go slide under here. So I'm just going to use my silicone matte sheet and just put a little bit of adhesive on the edge here. And I'm going to slide that underneath. Make sure my top is straight, my bottom is straight. And there you have a vellum. Okay. Now this piece that you cut off, we're going to add that to this because I think we need a little bit of something. If you cut off sometimes if you're cutting you may have a narrower strip like this, but I have this size strip, and so we're going to go ahead and put that on there. Now I'm just going to put some adhesive on there and put it, and then I'm going to trim it off. if you want to even with this, then just trim it some more. It's up to you. I'm going to kind of show you that you can do it any way you want. So you can do it that way, or you can make it go all the way to the edge. Okay, so now we can, that will be going here. So we need to put our flaps on, so let's do that. They'll be going here. So again, we're just adhering. Our flaps. And then the next flap. And I put them together so I can kind of get them the same height. Okay. Ta-da. Okay. We go ahead and put the inside in. And then this will go on here. So really, once you get the gatefold, the measurements, initially Judy and I were doing it, and she had me doing it at 10 3/4 cutting, and I was just having a lot of difficulty, so I just dropped it down a 1/4 inch. And this goes here. Okay. Now, these scraps that we have left over, there's different scraps. I'm going to go ahead and punch Moody Mauve, or Moody Wild Wheat and Moody Mauve. Set those. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually offset them, because I really didn't know what to do with that punch. So we're going to, actually I'm going to put the Moody Mauve underneath. So I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive here. And offset it. Okay. And that will adhere. Straight down on this. That actually helps hold the vellum down. Now we need to die cut this out. So let's do that. And this, the mini die cut machine, we'll do 1 and 2. And put the die over the just a note. Sometimes you got to use a little washi tape. I'm not sure if I'll have to or not. And let's get rid of my machine over here. And you have just a note. I'm going to put this in my little container so I don't lose it. Little magnetic container from Harbor Freight. And I'm going to take my tool here and I'm going to add some mini dimensionals behind it. Okay. And we will put that on our card. The next thing we have is pearls. To add a little bit of pearls to it. And get this put away or I'm going to end up losing it. Now I found that the easiest thing to do for me to put embellishments on is using my scissors. You can use your take your pick tool, but I like my scissors. I just take and there you have your card. Happy stamping! It's a fun card to do. You can do all kinds of different things with it. Again, this is Debbie, your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and you have a great day. Bye-bye.